video could have came out like yesterday, but I got really distracted because I watched the Transformers movie, the old 80s one. But yeah, buy my merch. That's it. Oh, and follow me too. Can I please have 10K on both platforms? I promise I'll be good. To absolutely no one's surprise, while scrolling, I found yet another tweet that I did not like. I grant y'all the utmost pleasure of seeing the terrible take as well. Buddy, Hispanics and black people relate more to Goku than they do any modern interpretation of what corporate representation is for them. Representation doesn't matter. This tweet got almost 10,000 likes, but so does hate speech on Twitter. This was in response to a response of their original tweet, which is also a response. This generation's so obsessed with culture and race, in the next 10 to 20 years, they're gonna be screaming at the top of their lungs when they see a white person eating at a Chinese restaurant. 25,000 likes. I hate when someone on a more progressive leaning side starts making problems out of trivial shit like manspreading or a native character in a video game break dancing, because it gives the actually usually wrong people an opportunity to look more normal to normal people. Yeah, with tweets like this, people are gonna think this guy's tweet actually makes sense. Back to the first one though. Notice what he said. Representation doesn't matter. Not representation isn't as important. Not you shouldn't look for representation in not Western media. Not you should make your own stuff. He didn't even say that us getting our representation erases his. None of the usual talking points, because they don't matter. They're nothing but a goalpost to be moved. I hate this dumbass tweet. I hate this dumbass logic. I hate this dumbass argument. I hate this dumbass earth.
Am I happy with who I am? Am I happy with who I am? Am I happy with the people around me?
Relatability does not equal representation. They are not the same thing.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Everywhere I go, it's pretty easy to find someone creatively pretending they don't understand representation. I see the Wojaks or the stupid stone toss art where it's like, oh, dumbass little black girl. You want Spider on TV that looks just like you? You want Ariel? What a dumb fucking idiot. Me and the boys, we were looking at Goku. We were looking at Optimus Prime. That was my goat, yeah. I mean, that's cool. You know, I just really want to see a black mermaid girl. It would make me really happy. Lame, woke, triggered. I got glue in my ear. Hey, you know, moot point. People simply relate to characterization more, not skin color. It's all just a gimmick. Hey, you know, I'm white, and when I was a kid, my biggest hero was Louis Armstrong. It's not about melanin, it's about character. Yeah, whenever Stone Toss makes a good point, you know something's wrong. You know, scratch that. Whenever you've allowed yourself to believe Stone Toss made a good point, I know something's wrong. When I was young, I grew up on Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, and Transformers. I was a pretty nerdy kid growing up, so I was gravitated towards whatever character was nerdy on screen. So any Nerd Ranger that was usually blue, that was mine. Any Transformers character that was smart, me. And for the Turtles, obviously, Donatello always. It was always Donatello, always will be. I saw these characters and I thought, oh, they're just like me for real, related to their hobbies, struggles, quirks. And theoretically, this can be done with any character. You see a story about poverty, you could relate to it if you come from a home struck with it. You see a story about starting from the bottom or sticking with your family or dealing with artistic struggle. These are all stories that include characters that people on some level can relate to. And I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. All art is derivative, and any art with characters in it that's supposed to be relating to somebody is relating to their past, present, or future. Sometimes I watch movies I've seen ages ago because maybe now I relate to a different character in the movie. It's like when you go and watch SpongeBob as an adult and go from thinking, man, Squidward fucking sucks, to going, man, SpongeBob sure is annoying sometimes. Like, as fuck. But sometimes we need specific stories with specific characters and specific scenarios for specific reasons. Reason being, not only to be relatable, but also to represent. When something's relatable, you have the ability to relate to it, to connect with it. Maybe you can relate to it on a surface level, or maybe it cuts deeper, but the point is you can relate to it. You could be like me and be like Phil in that one episode of All Grown Up where he's like coming to terms with the fact that his twin sister is going through puberty and it's like really weird and awkward. You could be like me and be like Lance, who's unsure of his abilities and is really insecure of his place on the team. You could be like me and be Sokka, feeling like you always have something to prove. These are all things that you can relate to. But what do you do when you want to make a deep Southern post-depression, post-segregation, post-color and TV come-up story about a black woman? That's very relatable, but very specific in its relatability. I would hope that we have someone who's accurately cast to properly be relatable to its demographic. If you're white or severely whitewashed or got that Smash Brothers cut, you won't understand any of this. White people don't typically like being reminded that they're white, and the existence of other races in their media reminds them that they're white. Show about Transformers? Fine. Show about Transformers with some humans that happen to all be white? Fine. Use a Transformer, you know, a character that was physically constructed, as in they're not real, and a space robot realistically shouldn't have a gender binary system. Make one non-binary. Oh, the fucking horror. White people don't have to think about being white until somebody else brings it up to them. So they can look at a character like Optimus Prime and look at him and think, oh, well, that guy's just like me. They can look at a character like Goku, who very easily is claimable, and claim him very easily. Or they could just gaslight minorities into thinking that they don't need representation. But like, it's really lame to ask for, or it's almost an insult. Yeah, they do that too. Or you bring up a pretty good reasonable point that there's already the means necessary to provide your player base with actual proper representation. Well, you're a fucking idiot for thinking that or even wanting that, you fucking idiot. You bring up a valid point that these people seem to bring all the cool things from your culture into their game except for you. Well, why does that matter? Because when we're addressing that specific point, the goalpost is moved to you shouldn't be looking to a Chinese company for representation. What they actually mean to say is shut up and we don't give a fuck, more at 8. Instead, they start talking for people and they end up saying things that don't make sense, but they say it long enough and real life starts to reflect that. I hate this image so much because up until like 5 years ago, it didn't make sense. This was a straw man that someone drew out of their conversation they had with somebody else about Victor and Valentino, a show that factually does not fit the description of the left side of this artwork. This is a straw man, or it was until Primos came out. These points only exist in a vacuum. You know they do. Person watching this who disagrees with me, you know they do. Name 5 Mexican-based shows on your hand that has the quote-unquote Cal art style that over-caters to Mexican culture in a stereotypical, almost whitewashed way. Oh, I got one. Primos. And nothing else. This is how they get us. They incite these fictional scenarios where we're supposed to be mad with them for how we're being disrespected. The goalpost here is moved to this type of representation that doesn't exist is bad. This type is based. And it's funny because Victor and Valentino is more like the second image on the right, the one that we're supposed to be mad at. Also, like, no normal person is excited for Primos. It's like fake, like, white progressive person Wojak you got at the bottom, soy facing over the hypothetical Primos doesn't exist. I mean, this is more you know, I'm saying it is. How dare they even try to make you into some caricature for woke prophets and virtue signaling? You know what? Now that I've stopped fully thinking for myself, you're right. They make you sit there and think that you should be mad at this, a situation that doesn't exist, because you didn't project that on actual situations that do exist or actual people. I mean, how dare they imply you should be represented by Miles Morales and not Goku? I mean, Goku's strong and powerful. We all love Goku, but if you sat there for just maybe 5 more seconds and had like 3 more thoughts that weren't all circular with their reasoning, you'd be sitting there realizing it isn't the corporate executives trying to tell you how to feel and who to be represented by. It's actually the internet white men that are telling you how to feel. But some of them don't even know that. Some of them don't even know like what being white means. Whiteness isn't defined by what it is, it's defined by what it isn't. And for a lot of people, whiteness is anything, so whiteness isn't anything. Yes, I can look at Goku or Sonic if I wanted relatability in the aspect of trying my hardest and never giving up. But what if I wanted that under the lens of the black experience? What if I want a cartoon of kids just doing stupid shit, except the main kid is a black kid doing stupid shit? What if I want your typical isekai plotline, but I want the main character to be a black man? When I saw Jack from SPD, I literally lost my mind, like a black guy through and through with locks in his head, leading the team and doing it his own way. Sure, if I wanted to look at the unlikely hero's journey, I could watch Wes or Leo or Casey seasons, but I like seeing a black man win.
Guy. Heroes come in all colors.
My problem is, at what point did that become an issue? By now, is it seen stupid or a bother or nonsensical to want that? Why is it that genuine fans of a property want to see themselves in a property they love and that's seen as an eye roll? Why is it such a bother that people aren't just fine with relating to characters and want characters that represent them accurately? Why can't people be happy seeing someone that looks like them on a big screen? Recently, it's been proven that when a minority gets race swapped, y'all don't care, and y'all never do. There's never widespread outrage for actual whitewashing in Hollywood. You don't care, but for some reason representation is a bother. Why? I just hate engaging in arguments about this specifically because engaging in an argument implies that what they're saying needs to be argued against. Like, there's literal videos of little girls being happy seeing a black Little Mermaid on the screen. I don't understand why that's an issue. My mom, who was in her late 50s, felt fucking seen by The Princess and the Frog. Your story about a hardworking Southern lady during post-segregation time, I don't think Goku gonna cut it. Maybe relate to Goku more, maybe freezes that upcoming math test you gotta take. Maybe cool as your fucking dad who doesn't love you. I don't understand how we've gotten to a point of such blatant apathy and just genuine disregard for human relations. Well, you have feelings and you care and you want to advocate for somebody else's quality of life. Lame. We live in a world where somebody can, on Twitter, bring up the reasonable rebuttal to no representation. That media often reflects the real world. Almost 700 likes deflecting the shit. I struggle to see how a game like Super Monkey Ball reflects the real world. Your arguments only work in a vacuum. Nobody's asking for representation in Super Monkey Ball. Art often does reflect real life, whether that fits your narrow-framed argument or not. To see this point and directly dismiss it is disingenuous. All these people have to do is have a quick and snappy response to your very long and thorough explanation of a correct concept. Boom, they win. Diversity objectively makes art better. People say we live in such a derivative time for art right now where everybody's copying the same thing. The moment you include the space for fresh, different perspectives and new takes from new people we haven't seen before, you end up getting a new perspective and something really interesting from that. There's nothing wrong with growing up on Goku and him being the one that you look towards for representation. But there's also nothing wrong with the growing little gremlins at home that want somebody that looks like them on the screen that they're watching. I think it's both racist and narcissistic to think that you can't enjoy something unless the character looks like you. We are changing the argument. Why do white people do this? They like to do like the flip thing where it's like, no, you're the racist for wanting this thing, or you're the bigot. Actually, now apparently the fake argument that they've convinced is the argument for representation is that relatability isn't a thing that people like at all, and they can't relate to someone at all unless they're the same skin color. That's not happening. No one normal is saying that. Why do we always have to be obtuse about this shit and go to some weird imaginary made-up argument straw man land where we're refuting points that don't actually exist? I don't want to have to exist in Twitter Narnia where I have to prove to you that Sonic is somebody I can relate to. Why can't I just have both? I'm Latino, almost 40, and now a small isekai anime girl relate to me more than whatever Latino mainstream media is popular right now. Cool, I don't give a fuck. The fact that this is a true point for you does not mean that any other Latino who wants representation from not isekai anime girl is invalid. This isn't a point. This person got ratioed for saying that representation matters, and there's a whole generation of kids that will relate to Miles Morales, which is an undeniable fact. Well, you know, I'm a black woman and I've related to Wolverine more. I don't give a fuck. Have niggas, honest to God, wiped your mind so clean that you think that saying that you relate to Wolverine more than Storm and Miles Morales is a point against representation? That is just your opinion. Guess now I can't relate to this guy. Shame, I thought I did. Now the argument has honest to God shifted to where you have white people on Twitter thinking that black people are saying you can't relate to black characters because they aren't black. As a socially awkward black man, I've also felt like Peter Parker was more relatable. Goku too. Am I going fucking crazy right now? I mean, I'm more of a Travis Touchdown kind of guy. I think a guy like that, but for black people, like my Black Panther can't be Andre Black Nerd. Can I be my demographics Black Panther? You know, because I might be Tyler or Thundercat or Zach Fox or Donald Glover. I'll see you niggas in a couple years. I've had to re-realize that no, I'm not the crazy one. Like all it took was seeing this crazy shit from them. Modern cartoons suck because they don't do anything risky, bold, interesting, or well thought out with their characters, stories, world building, or premise. It all ends up feeling safe and lackluster and often is disguised as being the writer's therapy session / political vent piece. What fucking shows are you talking about? Or at least what show do you think you're talking about? I would responded to like just this tweet 5 years ago for a video. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even have to prove to you that one modern cartoon does what like 2 of the things you're complaining it doesn't do. This bit of Steven Universe CalArts hate withdrawal, or are we witnessing a Japanese soldier still fighting a good fight? It's 2024. Pack it the fuck up. You don't need a valid reason to not like the new shit, but just don't lie, my nigga. I can read. Over there on Twitter, you can maybe not know what you're talking about, but speak for a certain side and they could gas up your post. But over here, niggas read. Over there, people complain about cartoons and how much they don't like them and also haven't seen a cartoon since 2011. Because a good amount of cartoons that came out since then that will be considered modern have all the things you're saying they don't. This is a lie. I don't mind watch my nigga. Watch Arcane or something. That has like all the things you said these cartoons don't. When people say shit like this, it puts into perspective just how much they don't actually care about what they're talking about. You actually don't know anything. There is disagreeing with someone and there's that person just being factually wrong. No amount of I'm black and I don't like the progressive media being pushed right now is gonna make you more right. Representation is a net positive. You can debate Romeo until you can only stomp your feet and scream bloody murder, but this is an undeniable fact. We see all over the world that people are happy seeing themselves in things that they love. That should be argument enough, but some people are so devoid of empathy and perspective that they can't seem to see outside their own box. There are people who earnestly want you to believe that representation doesn't matter. They want to weaponize your anger and direct it at people actually trying to help the community instead of the ones trying to erase it.
But you just think you do, because you are manipulated into thinking you do.
You can ask them why having people on screen that could be black, Asian, gay, trans, autistic, any of those things. You could ask why including more people in the world that just exist is a bad thing. They'll say stop changing old characters they all of a sudden care about. Then make your own original characters. Then they'll say those characters need to stand on their own, disconnected from established characters they like. They'll say put them in their own original stories. Then they'll say this specific story isn't good for you, but they know what is. Then they'll say representation doesn't matter. Relatability does. Don't let them control the conversation, because it does matter. You can find Wolverine or Goku or Deadpool or Sonic or Optimus Prime relatable. You can look at them and say, that's you. I love that for you. But what is exactly wrong with me wanting to see me in people who look like me? Nothing. Representation matters. Relatability isn't representation. Don't be a useful idiot. Be useful to yourself. And for the people that went in 15 minutes deep on this and still ain't rocking with it, cool. Keep moving that goalpost. It's the quick fix for cognitive dissonance. And I know y'all got that bad.